लोग जो 44 नंबर लगा हुआ है कैश आइटम नंबर, उसके लेकर आज हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे कि कहाँ पर अभी क्या स्थिति बनी हुई है। और हमारे साथ जो हैं हरीश सर हैं, जो हम लोग दोनों मिल के आप लोग को जो सारी जानकारी देंगे। सर बताइए।
हाँ, तो हम लोग अभी पूरा जानकारी देने वाले हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है आप लोगों का। आज हम लोग का सुनवाई अभी होने वाला है फ्रेंड्स, थोड़ा-सा लिंक को शेयर कीजिए। चारों तरफ इसको लिंक को शेयर है ना फ्रेंड्स। और हम लोग पूरा आज बताएँगे सुनवाई होने वाला है, क्या नहीं, क्या हो रहा है, और पूरा उम्मीद है कि जीतेंगे। और आप लोग क्या कहना चाहते हैं ज़रूर कमेंट्स करेंगे। और थोड़ा-सा आप इंट्रोडक्शन दे दीजिए, थोड़ा-सा डिटेल बताइए, मैटर चल रहा है अभी हम
देखिए,
लोग।
जो मैटर है हमारे जो सूरज सर के जो नेतृत्व में सीटेट बनाम जेटेट जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मैटर चल रही है, उसमें आप लोग सब जान ही रहे हैं हर चीज़ को। तो जो अभी केस नंबर कितना चल रहा है सर?
अभी तो इधर-उधर चल रहा है, साइमल्टेनियस
आज जो है सीक्वेंसली नहीं चल रहे हैं।
हाँ,
और
बता रहे हैं कितना चल रहा है। लोग सब कोई जान ही रहा है वैसे भी। अभी चल रहा है 23 नंबर चल रहा है, इधर-उधर
23 नंबर चल रहा है, पहले उधर 52 से उधर चले थे ना। तो मोस्ट चांस है कि आज हम लोग का जो होगा, जो सुनवाई होगा, रास्ते जो लगा हुआ है वो हट जाएगा और सहायक आचार्य की जो नियुक्ति है वो तुरंत हो जाएगी। आप लोग भी गौर से प्रे करिए कि जो भी होंगे वो हम लोग के ही फेवर में हो और आज ही हो जाए, क्योंकि डिले होने से क्या हो रही है कि बहुत ज़्यादा परेशानियाँ आ रही है। अगर डिले होती है तो बहुत सारी चीज़ों को सामना भी करने पड़ सकते हैं हम लोगों को, जैसे कि होता है कि आचार संहिता लग जाती है तो नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया रुक जाएगी। तो किसी कारण किसी भी तरीके से आज ही सुनवाई हो जाए, उस पर बहस हो जाए और राष्ट्रीय सबसे पहले हट जाए।
थोड़ा जवाब दीजिए हम लोग को।
क्या बोल रहे हैं सर? कुणाल कैन बोल रहे हैं आने वाला है। बिल्कुल आज अभी आने वाला है। अभी लगभग अभी 2:17 हुई, 2 घंटा अभी और समय है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में 4:30 बजे तक सुनवाई होती है।
नहीं, और जज भी बोले हैं कि लेंगे।
और जज भी बोले हुए हैं कि आज जो है इस मैटर पर लेंगे, क्योंकि सरकार भी गंभीरता है। सूरज सर हमारे वहीं पर लगे हुए हैं, लगातार 3 दिनों से दिल्ली में ही हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट के वकीलों से लगातार उनकी बातचीत हो रही है और वो अपने सारे कामों को छोड़कर वो लगे हुए हैं ताकि झारखंड के जो छात्रों हैं, मूलवासी आदिवासी छात्रों का भला हो सके। क्योंकि आप लोग जान ही रहे हैं जेटेट वालों ने किस तरह से झारखंड वालों को परेशान किया है, ना खुद की नियुक्ति पा रहे हैं। कल देखें किस तरह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट में उनको लताड़ा गया है।
लिस्ट हो गया है।
लिस्ट हो गया है। हाँ।
क्या लिस्ट हो गया है? हम
ये कौन सर लग रहे हैं? कुणाल सर है।
हाँ, आ गया।
हाँ, हम लोग का आ गया
है आप लोग को
लाइव दिखाने जा रहे हैं अब। सर बताइए, तो लाइव दिखाइए।
रुके।
रिकॉर्डिंग हो जाता है उससे।
चुप रहिए। नहीं रिकॉर्ड हो रहा। आप बोलते रहिए था।
और केस का जो सुना हम ही लोग का चल रहा है ना, हम लोग का मैटर अभी आ चुका है। और बहुत खुशी की बात है कि आज जो जेटेट बनाम सीटेट का जो मैटर है अभी जस्ट हम लोग का नंबर लग चुका है और उस पर सुनवाई होने जा रही है। और सारी चीज़ लेटेस्ट अपडेट है, आप लोग उसको लाइव भी देख सकते हैं, दिखाएंगे हम लोग आपको।
लाइव दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, जो होगा बता देंगे।
और जो भी होगी वो सारी चीज़ जानकारी हम लोग आपको देते रहेंगे। बाकी किन्हीं को कोई प्रश्न है वो बतलाइए।
बोलिए कि हम लोग लाइव बाद में आएंगे। सुनने के बाद देख लीजिए।
थोड़ा सा दिखा देते हैं।
नहीं आ रहा है रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं आ रहा।
Necessity for the government to go further afield and get those who are not Jharkhand TET qualified but who are qualified in TETs which are conducted either by other states or by the central CTET as it's called. The background of this case effectively is that some individuals who are not Jharkhand TET qualified individuals moved the High Court on a writ petition. And they said Jharkhand has not conducted the TET for the last 3 years or so. So our opportunity to become eligible has been deprived to us. A concession is made by the government. We are not
सर
parties.
बोले हो
Concession
जाएगा,
is
बाद
made
में
by
पूरा
the
दिखाएंगे,
government. We were not there.
रिकॉर्ड करने दीजिए।
No, we were not. We were you. We were all eligible and qualified and sitting at home. So we were not invited. We were not
आप लोग
parties. The
देखे
people
होंगे,
who owned the High
सुन पा रहे
Court
होंगे
were those who did not have the
कि जो
Jharkhand
सुनवाई है वो चल रही है हम लोग पर,
They said, please conduct
और
the exam. Sorry.
हार्ट बीट सबका बढ़ा हुआ है। आप लोग को जिस तरह से बढ़ा हुआ है हम लोग को भी
We filed
हार्ट
for
बीट बढ़ा हुआ है, और आज हम लोग को फेवर में भी रिजल्ट जाने जा रहा है। बहुत खुशी की बात होगी। झारखंड में पहली बार जो होगा 26 और 1 पोस्ट के लिए जो स्टे लगा हुआ है आज हटने जा रही है, और आज नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया के स्टे हट जाएगी तुरंत। लगता है सरकार भी गंभीर है, संवेदनशील है, और नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया भी बहुत जल्द हो जाएगी तुरंत। देखिएगा कि रिजल्ट आने के बाद सबका वेरिफिकेशन होंगे। देखिए
वहीं से होता है क्या?
These are the persons who were from Jharkhand who has not conducted TET. Correct. So they
देखे होंगे दोस्तों कि बहुत लोग अलग अलग तरह के अफवाह फैला रहे थे, गलत गलत कमेंट भी कर रहे थे ग्रुप्स में, लेकिन आज देखिए सबके सामने है। सूरज सर की मेहनत देखिए, आपका हरी सर का मेहनत देखिए। लगातार इन लोग जो है एडवोकेट से लगे हुए थे।
आएगा वहीं से प्रॉब्लम होता है कभी।
थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम वहीं से आ रही है, वीडियो इसलिए नहीं आ रही है। कुणाल सर बोल रहे हैं आ गया। हाँ सर आ गया है,
देखिए और पूरा फैलाइए
ग्रुप में से अधिक से अधिक ग्रुप आप लोग शेयर करिए।
थोड़ा सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए,
और जो भी चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया सब्सक्राइब करिए, ताकि हम आप लोग को लेटेस्ट जो अपडेट होता है जेन्युइन अपडेट ही आप लोग को हम देते हैं। कभी हम इस तरह से यूट्यूबर के जैसा हम वीडियो बना के आपको इधर उधर की जानकारी नहीं देते हैं। और आप लोग चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लिए, शेयर कर दें, ताकि अधिक से अधिक लोग जो हैं। शिक्षा मंत्री ने कहा है कि शिक्षा मंत्री खुद 10वां पास है, उनको कुछ पता नहीं है, उनको साइन करना है, उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है। सारे कार्मिक विभाग के लोग कर्मी करते हैं, शिक्षा निदेशक करता है, उसको 2 महीना के लिए बनाया गया है, तो वो अपने आप में तिस्मार खान समझ रहे हैं। जजमेंट आ गया क्या नहीं, जजमेंट में बहस हो रही है। बोका मंत्री, बोका से भी बोका मंत्री, वो अपना बच्चा को भी पास नहीं करा पाया था। जब शिक्षा मंत्री था तो उसका बच्चा भी 3 बार 12th फेल कर गया था। जेटेट सिलेबस का क्या होगा? जेटेट सिलेबस का सारा नियमावली में गड़बड़ी थी, वो संशोधन हो रही है।
पहले यहाँ देखिए ना, यहाँ आज का मामला गंभीर है, उसके बाद जेटेट उटेट कीजिएगा। मामला पहले क्लियर हो जाए। जूम कर दीजिए ना सर यहाँ। हाँ, काल इतना परेशान रहते हैं जी आप लोग? होगा आप लोग वीडियो को थोड़ा शेयर कीजिए। देखिए यहाँ हम लोग लाइव दिखा रहे हैं ना, ये गोपाल शंकर नारायण जी हैं, और इधर से हमारे वकील हैं, वो आएंगे अभी हमारे, और भी जब हम लोग का टाइम आएगा बोलने का तब आएंगे।
अरे सुरेश दास जी हैं, आप बार बार उल्टा सीधा कमेंट कर रहे हैं, क्या है जी?
अच्छा, क्या कमेंट कर रहा है? ये कर दीजिए रिमूव। कहाँ
बकर बकर का
रुकिए ना, कौन है? सुरेश, रुक, उसको ऐसे करना है जो है सुरेश, ऐसे सुरेश में ओके करके इसको ये कर दीजिए, पुट इन टाइम आउट कर दीजिए 24 घंटा के लिए। कहानी कर लंबा बात होगा फ्रेंड,
ऐसे कर देते ना सर?
नहीं ऐसे नहीं समझना।
Minimum educational qualification starts at 138 at 142. If your lordship's wishes, I can show from 138, 35. Yes, 35 at 138, clause 5. The scale of pay and minimum educational qualifications for the posts mentioned in clause 3 are as follows. So the post is intermediate trained assistant teacher. Yes, intermediate trained assistant teacher, classes 1 to 5. And the minimum educational qualification is the last column. Yes. It has come to 142.
हाँ?
देखने शेयर करेगा लोग।
at the end, and it's a conjunctive, and pass the teacher eligibility test. That's Jharkhand, Jhtet, conducted for classes 1 to 5 by the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by the NCTE. Where is this?
आधा घंटा अंदर बात खुशी के बाद
Page 142 bottom. 142.
तो सिलेबस के बारे में तब तक बताइए।
नहीं लोग बहुत ध्यानपूर्वक सुन रहे हैं तो
Conducted for classes. It should be Jhtet.
कुछ आवाज आ रहा है कि नहीं?
आवाज आ रही है दोस्तों।
Classes 1 to 5.
चेटेट सिलेबस के बारे में हम आप लोगों को बाद में बताएंगे। अभी जो चीज के बारे में होती है उस चीज के बारे में सुनिए। अगर आपको नहीं पसंद है तब चैनल मत देखिए।
JTET, Jharkhand Teachers Eligibility Test. JTET. Yes. Is it right? JTET.
Yes.
Petitioner.
Was brought to by government of Jharkhand under the guidelines formulated by the National Council for the Teachers. For teacher education. So meaning thereby this JTET is under the guidelines formulated by National Council of by the NCT. That's right. Yes. Now, if I can pause here for a minute, I just want to take a minute to tell you lordships the statutory backdrop behind this. It starts with the RTE. The lordships can just see the act for a minute because it's a mainstay of our that act. The Right to Education Act.
आवाज आ रही है लेकिन वीडियो में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, वही का प्रॉब्लम है।
Why go there? We have the rules and the qualification perspective. I'll explain why. Because of very well. I just want to show your lordship the entire backdrop of this. Starts with RT, goes to the NCT, which is nominated under the RT. The NCT guidelines, and then these advertisements come. So I'm showing you the foundation behind advertisement.
कोई है अपना वीडियो ऑन कर दिया है।
Concession. This is a simple argument. The concession that they made before the High Court was legally impermissible. Just by reading this, that's our argument. That's the beginning and end of it. That's all. So I can show you the rest of the documents, etc., but unnecessarily I'll take time because this is the heart of our case. Just give a copy. If you have a copy, I can give. Yeah, same thing. Same.
हम लोग का वकील लोग कहाँ गए? इन लोग को सुन लेगा उसके बाद हम लोग सुनेंगे।
Section 23 वाला another setting. That's it.
कौन ये सब लिख रहा है यार?
अभी के लिए
जवाब दीजिए सर, जो पूछ रहा है।
नहीं सुनेगा तो। कहाँ कर दे रहे हैं अभी?
हम थोड़ी कर रहे हैं, वहीं से हो रहा है।
Qualifications for appointment and terms and conditions of service of teachers.
Okay.
1. Any person possessing such minimum qualifications as laid down by an academic authority authorized by the central government by the notification shall be eligible for appointment as a teacher. So, the minimum qualifications will be as laid down by an academic authority which will be designated by the central government. Nobody else. No state government has any power. It's only the central government which can nominate what that authority is. Right, sir? Now, 2, for a minute. Where the state does not have adequate institutions offering courses or training in teacher education, so that requirement has to be fulfilled. Or teachers possessing minimum qualifications as laid down by the
अमृतांश बॉस भी गए। अमृतांश बॉस यहाँ है।
अरे साधु बाबा को भेजा है, हेमंत सोरेन भेजा है साधु बाबा को। दो साधु बाबा है।
central government may, if it deems necessary by notification, relax the minimum qualifications required for appointment as a teacher for such
जब वो बोलेगा ना तो
सब बोल रहा है कि चुप रहिए सुनना।
अच्छा।
सॉरी आप लोग।
सॉरी भाई लोग। अरे यार सॉरी भाई, सॉरी पंकज भाई, हम ध्यान नहीं दिए थे।
That every teacher appointed or in position on 31st March 15, this was inserted later in 17, shall acquire such minimum qualifications within a period of 4 years from the date of commencement of the RTE Act. Now, the reason for the second proviso is that as per section 23(1), the first subsection, the authority had to be designated. That authority which was designated made a notification dated 31st March 2010. And you will find that at page 9 of the IA. Actually, I'll just hand up this note so your lordships can. I have put it in my note as well. If your lordship just comes to page 2 of this note, let us see the notification. Yes, yes. I'm just saying, I want to save your lordships the trouble of making notes because what I'm submitting is in page 2 with the page numbers. So, notification is page number? The only problem is page 9 of the additional document. Mr. Chapter, the only problem is if you want to add anything, there is no space. On this. You'll have to write it. No, I agree. I'm just saying you leave some space also for us. No, but on page 2 there may be space. Just see page. Is there space? No, like, yes, sorry. Sorry. The dates on there, that's all. Page number and date. That same IA that your lordships took up just now to see the advertisement, page 9. Page 9 of the line. 9 is in Hindi. And the English bottom right side. Page 9, bottom right side. Small paragraph.
Video वहीं से कर दिया है.
31st March 2010 notification. In exercise of the powers conferred by subsection 1 of section 23 of the RTE, the central government hereby authorizes NCTE as the academic authority to lay down the minimum qualifications for a person to be eligible for appointment as teacher. Right, Mark? If you're not NCTE is the singular authority and designated by the central government, keeping in terms of the Act. The Act, as your lordship saw, in 23(2), provides that if either of those two triggers are satisfied, that you don't have enough institutions or not enough people, then the relaxation can be made for a state by the central government for a period of 5 years. Yes. So one thing is clear.
जवाब दीजिए ना, हम लोग वाला चल रहा है.
हाँ, नहीं सुनेगा सब, हम भी सुन रहे हैं.
Decide the qualification, and any relaxation for any state will be done by the central government. Side minimum qualification. Minimum qualification. So the central government is the only authority that will decide that. Then the state has no role to play. Now, just next page, page 10, Manoj. Page 10 is dated 23rd August 2010. Yes, please. Yeah. This provides for the minimum qualifications. It's by the NCTE. This is page 10 of the same IA. At page 11, if your lordships will see, after dealing with minimum qualifications, classes 1 to 5, classes 6 to 8, just above serial number 2 at the bottom of the page, your lordship sees pass in the teacher eligibility test. Yes. P. Justice Bindalan. Page 11, just above 2, in P, that second qualification, pass in the teacher eligibility test to be conducted by the appropriate government. Please mark appropriate government because that is defined in the Act. In section 2 of the Act, appropriate government is defined. In accordance with the guidelines framed by NCTE for this purpose. Appropriate government, my lords, is in section 2A of the Act. A. 2A of the Act. That Act, my lords. Yes, right. Yes, yes. Section 2, subsection A. Appropriate government means, 1, in relation to a school established, owned or controlled by the central government or the administrator of the union territory having no legislature, the central government. Okay. Two is what is relevant. In relation to a school other than the school referred to in clause 1, established within the territory of this capital A, a state, the state government. So the appropriate government which will conduct this TET as required by the law will be Jharkhand. So reading this guideline at page 11, it's a mandatory requirement that they must pass the TET to be conducted by the state of Jharkhand, not any other TET. And this has to be in terms of the guidelines prescribed for that purpose.
बोल दीजिए ना सर, थोड़ा कोई दिक्कत थोड़ी बोल दीजिए।
नहीं सुन रहे हैं, एक आदमी के चक्कर में परेशान सा होगा।
The guidelines your lordships may note is at page 222. In my note, it's the last line of page 2. Very last line of page 2. It's page 222 of the main SLP paper book. Page 222. It's dated 11th February 2011. If I can just read this, just page 222. This is by NCT to all the secretaries, commissioners of education of the state governments and the UTs. Page 222, Malaj, Annexure P1. Guidelines for conducting TET. It's sent to all the state governments. Sir, madam, in accordance with 23.1, we did notification dated 23rd August. NCT has been laid down minimum qualifications, etc. It has been inter alia provided that one of the essential qualifications for a person to be eligible for appointment as a teacher in any of the schools referred to in clause N of section 2 is that she should pass the TET, which will be conducted by the appropriate government in accordance with the guidelines. In this regard, please find enclosed the guidelines. The eligibility requirement, Manoj, is at page 223. Next page. Para 5. If I can just read in 5, small Roman 3. Following persons shall be eligible for appearing in the TET. Small Roman 3. The eligibility condition for appearing in TET may be relaxed in respect of a state UT which has been granted relaxation under subsection 2 of 23 of the RTA. It is not clause 3. I'm sorry? Clause 3. 5 small Roman 3.
Single bench में
5
double
small
bench
Roman 3. I'm so sorry. Eligibility.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में
Page
सिंगल डबल
223.
थोड़ी होता है,
Last line of that page.
हाई कोर्ट में
That small Roman 3.
होता है सिंगल डबल।
So for appearance in the TET test. Yes. So it says eligibility condition for appearing in TET may be relaxed in respect of a state or UT which has been granted relaxation under 23.2. So for 23.2, as I showed your lordships under the Act, that's the only place that the relaxation can be granted by the central government. This is only for appearance in that test which makes you eligible for appearance. That's correct. So how this will relate here? It won't. I'm saying it won't. I'm saying that if they were to try and argue that a relaxation is possible, the only relaxation, even as per the guidelines, is limited to... This is not a relaxation for appointment as a teacher. I'm grateful. That helps my case. Because as per the parliamentary law in section 23.2, the only relaxations that is possible to the NCTE's mandate is if the state government writes to the NCTE and says, look, I don't have enough institutions or I don't have enough qualified TET candidates in my state. Neither is the situation in Jharkhand. When they write like that, NCTE has to write back saying very well, for your Jharkhand, we will relax it and for 5 years, we will relax that condition. Nothing of this sort has ever taken place. If nothing of this sort has ever taken place, relaxation is not possible. That's our argument. So you can't stand up in an inter se writ among yourselves and tell the court, look, we will consider, we will concede, we will allow other people with texts from outside to take part. That's our argument. I hope I'm making myself clear. The relaxation is mandatorily only by central government in these two triggers. to the eligibility, then yes, or skip TET. Yes. For 1 to 5. Yes. By the government of Jharkhand under the guidelines for the going. So, along with the qualification, yes, passing of GTET is essential. It is essential qualification. Essential qualification. Once it is an essential, yes. So your saying is GTET, which is required to be conducted for class 1 to 5 by the government of Jharkhand, formulated by national constitution. So GTET, yes, if you passed out, yes, that should be as per the procedure prescribed, yes, for appearing to that and passing it. Correct. And that can only be
1 लाख
as
बोलेगा,
per the relaxation.
1 लाख
And
बोलेगा
that
स्टूडेंट
relaxation
पहले
is by
से,
the central government.
1 लाख
पहले से 1 लाख स्टूडेंट
Now,
लोग बोलेगा।
in
देखिए बहुत चालू है, पहले से बहुत सारा स्टूडेंट पास है बोलते हैं। हम लोग का भी मौका आएगा बोलने का।
बोलिए नहीं रहा कुछ,
अरे उन लोग को अलग से मौका मिलेगा सर, इन लोग का बोलने के बाद
क्रॉस होगा फिर जाके जजमेंट होगा।
ऐसा थोड़ी है इन लोग बोल दिया इन लोग का बात सुन लेगा, ऐसा थोड़ी है।
अभी जेटेट के तरफ से पक्ष रखे जा रहे हैं दोस्तों, आप लोग देख रहे होंगे, वकील भी, जज लोग भी अपना डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। अभी हमारे पक्ष के बातों को नहीं रखा गया है, दोनों को बात रखने के बाद जो होते हैं कंक्लूजन के साथ सीटेट जीत जाएगा और जेटेट परिमल जो है वहीं पर औंधे मुँहे गिर जाएगा।
उधर ही कहीं होंगे सर, ऐ तो है
कौन
वही
परिमल वहां पहुंच गया।
हाँ कहते हैं, ऐसा मत बोलिए उसको, बहुत ये है, नहीं बोलना है क्या।
GTET or TET. So you are referring of TET. It's for each state. They are asking in GTET. So the TET is the JTET. So for each state, Kerala is called KTET, Rajasthan is the Ctet. So they put the state's prefix before each of these. So central is Ctet. So I mean Karnataka, Kerala, there may be a difficulty, but this is how it is across the country. Now, once the Jhtet exam has been, you have enough candidates because more than 1 lakh of us have taken the Jhtet and we have qualified the Jhtet. So we are there. We're all available. This advertisement is for 26,000 posts, of which only 13,132 are available for us
इधर ही किधर
because of a reservation. Now the 13,132 is what we are eligible for.
Yeah.
Qualification is required by everyone.
अमृतांश पास के पास
Third category, this is not required. No, it's for everybody will have private. For it is required, is the basic qualification required. Para teachers are different. Who are working as para teachers, so that's separate. That's what this was 13,000. Everybody requires. Everybody requires it. There's no relaxing of this 13,000. That's the 50% of the posts advertised is 13,132. Of the remaining 50% is for para teachers. Yeah, who are already working in the state government, but for all them also. For them will be required. They would require that. But these people are already working as teachers. We are not. So for the remaining 13,000, we are candidates who are available and eligible. So there was no reason for those who are coming later, who have not sat for the exam when we sat for it, or who have not cleared it when we sat for it, saying that you have not. Sorry, which year you had passed out? 2016. All of us 2016.
लिख लिया।
And this qualifying JTET, yes, from the state of Jharkhand. Yes. This will be perfectly right for how many years? It's supposed to be forever. Once you qualify it, you qualify. It's like getting a PA or any other kind of thing. Yes. Then you can appear then thereafter. Yes, you can appear there. So now you come to the advertisement and when exam took place, then what? Can I just trouble you because there are a couple of arguments against us which I must show your lordships also. So that guidelines I was showing you from the first paper book, page 226, my lords, I had read that. If your lordships can just see page 226, 226, page 223. 223. Now, if your lordships can come to page 226. Yes. This is clause 10, applicability at the bottom of 226. A says Tet conducted by central government shall apply to all schools referred to in 2A1. This is Pan India. Pan India. That's a CTET. Therefore, the CTET can't apply to schools, conversely, which are not covered by 2A1. Second, B. Tet conducted by state
ध्यान
government
दीजिएगा
UT with
इसको।
legislature shall apply to 1. A school of the state government or UT with legislature and local authority referred to so that's what we are relying on. That's what it will apply to. Now, just after that, a school at 1 and 2 may also consider eligibility
इसको
of
तो
a
जान रहे
candidate
यही तो
who has
रहता है।
obtained Tet certificate awarded by
ये हमारे
another
झारखंड के
state or
वकील हैं जी।
UT
हाँ हम जान
with
रहे
a
हैं उसको।
झारखंड
legislature.
सरकार की तरफ से कहा है।
In case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct a Tet, a school at 1 and 2 in that state or UT would consider the Tet conducted by the central government. So this is in a scenario where the state itself is not going to conduct the exam and says so. That is not the state's position today. The state has conducted one exam which we have taken.
खुद ही फंस रहा है।
UT conducted by a state UT with legislature. Yes. Shall apply. Yes. School of the state government UT with legislature and local authority. That means other states' qualification is valid if the legislature and all that is there. Yes. Valid. It says a school at 1 and 2. A school that is subject prior to that. A school of the state government legislature.
पकड़ा गया।
Legislature, state B legislature. Yes.
अपने स्टेटमेंट से ही पकड़ा गया। अभी जेटेट का सीटेट वाले को तो अभी बात ही नहीं सुना गया।
No, I'll look at 10B, 10B1, 10B1.
वो जेटेट की तरफ से जो वकील बोल रहे हैं वो जेटेट की तरफ से हैं, लेकिन वो अपने बयानों से खुद फंसे हुए हैं। और
देखिए ना पकड़ा गया सर।
सभी लोग पटाखा मंगवा के रखिए, पटाखा फोड़ना होगा आज। सब पटाखा
शेयर करना बोल रहे हैं सर।
अधिक से अधिक शेयर करिए ताकि बहुत सारे जो हैं वो देख पाएंगे। आपका लाइव टेलीकास्ट चल रहा है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में।
शेयर कीजिए यार,
शेयर करिए सब कम से कम आप लोग।
हम लोग अभी नहीं शेयर कर सकते हैं। शेयर कीजिए ग्रुप में पूरा।
अगर हम शेयर करेंगे तो लाइव होस्टिंग जो है वो क्लोज हो जाएगा, तो इसलिए आप लोग जो भी देख रहे हैं साथी वो अधिक से अधिक साथी लाइव देख सकें, उसके लिए कम से कम आप लोग शेयर कर दें, सब्सक्राइब भी कर दें, ताकि आप लोग को इसी तरह से हम लोग लाइव अपडेट देते रहे हर चीज का। जेटेट हो, सीटेट हो, सहायक आचार्य की हो, आंसर की हो, रिजल्ट हो।
School means any recognized school imparting elementary education and includes 1. A school established, owned or controlled by the appropriate government or a local authority.
इन लोग ऐसा कमेंट करने लगता है ना, वहाँ जाके वीडियोज नॉट शोइंग ये वो सोचता है यूट्यूब है, वहाँ जाके कमेंट करता है। आएगा ना यार।
Which are covered by 2 and 1, which could be owned by the state or by a local authority, but 2 and 1 is what we are looking at, not private school. What is the meaning of this clause?
देखे पकड़ ले। What is the meaning?
In the same state, then there was no need for having this clause.
देखो परिमल का चेहरा देखो, चोर जैसा लग रहा है।
मत होते हैं सर ऐसा। छोड़िए मत।
Is applicable pan India. Then the meaning of this we understand is that any test conducted by a state with legislature or a UT with legislature is applicable in the state with legislature and UT with legislature. Correct. It is equal. So I'll just explain if I. This is what we understand. Yes, I am. So break up. The way I understand this clause is this. 10 is in 3 parts. Now the first part, which is meaning we have. Yes, no, but I'm saying for different meaning. The way I understand this
पकड़ा गया वहीं सर।
a division of applicability based on territory. That's the way I see it. Then A is dealing with 2A1, which is a central government institution. So if B is not talking about central government, it is state government.
पकड़ा गया रे भाई।
N1 are two completely
देखो साथियों,
2A1, if you just see 2A1, central government is 10A only.
सीटेट वाले को मौका मिलेगा। जेटेट वाले अपने बातों को रख रहे हैं, लेकिन अपने बातों में वो फंस गए हैं,
खुद ही फंस रहे हैं।
और आप लोग चिंता ना करें दोस्तों, अभी देख रहे हैं कि 250 हुआ है, 3, 10, 15 होते होते आप लोग के चेहरे में जो खुशियां दिखेगी वो उसकी कोई सीमाएं नहीं होगी।
पकड़ा गए हैं सर, देखिए ना,
और
अपनी बातों से ही पकड़ा रहे हैं।
तुरंत हम लोग आंसर की के लिए भी एक आंदोलन, तुरंत जेएसएससी का घेराव करेंगे, तुरंत आंसर की कैंडिडेट रिस्पॉन्स की के
आंसर
लिए,
रेस्पॉन्स की।
और साथ ही तुरंत रिजल्ट जारी करें और नियुक्ति प्रक्रिया में तुरंत हो, ताकि हम लोग को अक्टूबर का प्रथम सप्ताह तक हम लोग को नियुक्ति मिल जाए आचार संहिता से
अरे
पहले।
यार क्या हो रहा है यार, एकदम नेट स्लो कर दे रहा है, जेमर लगा दे रहा है क्या।
बोल रहे हैं आज फाइनल डिसीजन आ सकता है क्या? बिल्कुल फाइनल डिसीजन ही आ रही है।
शेयर करो मेरे भाई बंधु
पहले आप
लोग,
लोग शेयर करिए, अधिक से अधिक लोग
सब्सक्राइब भी कीजिए।
सब्सक्राइब भी करें, ताकि अधिक से अधिक लोग लाइव देख सकें, क्योंकि पेपर में पढ़ना और न्यूज में सुनना से अच्छा है कि कम से कम लाइव देखेंगे, थोड़ा
हाँ,
आत्मसंतुष्टि मिलेगा।
पेपर वाला
और
गलत
जो
भी
अभी खुशी
छापता
जो
है।
मिलेगा वो अलग खुशी है।
अरे सर थोड़ा सा हिंदी समझा देते जाइएगा बीच बीच में, अगर नहीं समझ में आ रहा है
हम्म।
तो। देखिए दोस्तों, वहीं से इंटरप्ट है, ऐसा नहीं समझिएगा हम लोग कुछ किए हैं, कभी कभी हो जाता है, मामला फंस जाता है, थोड़ा सा इंटरनेट का बात है ना दोस्तों।
आवाज वो बंद हो गई।
तो वहीं से है, वो आएगा आएगा।
लाइव किया हुआ है सर, लेकिन वहीं से जो है आप लोग का
प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है,
प्रॉब्लम है।
वहाँ चल रहा है। 86 में सिर्फ 14 लाइक है, उससे क्या मतलब है सर, जेटेट वाला भी देख रहा होगा। थोड़ा हम काट के करते हैं थोड़ा, तब तक आप
तब तक आप
बात
लोग कोई
कीजिए।
प्रश्न बोलिए, तब तक फिर से कर रहे हैं, ताकि आवाज भी नहीं आ रही है और वीडियो विजुअल भी नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो आप लोग जो भी चीज प्रश्न है वो पूछिए, ताकि हम लोग आप लोग प्रश्न के जवाब दें। बोला अभी खुशी मत बनाओ भाई, खुशी क्यों नहीं होगा भाई? लोग झूठा खुशी नहीं करते हैं। कल देखे ना, जेटेट की सीधे नियुक्ति कर लेकर सीधे कोर्ट खारिज कर दिया गया, तो आज कैसे उसको नियुक्ति दे देगी? अभी देख रहे हैं कि जेटेट के जो वकील हैं वो अपने बयानों से ही खुद फंस जा रहे हैं। सीटेट केस का क्या हुआ सर? सीटेट केस का भी अभी चल रही है, बहस चल रही है, जजमेंट चल रही है, जिसमें अभी जेटेट की तरफ से बातों का रखी जा रही है। बोले सुनवाई हो गई क्या सर? सुनवाई नहीं हुई।
आपका वाईफाई ऑफ हो गया था इसीलिए नहीं चल रहा था।
वो मैसेज हमको आया था, कौन सी जानते हैं? योर मोबाइल इज टू ऑफ टर्न ऑफ।
कहाँ है, हॉट हो जा रहा था।
चलिए जल्दी करिए, जल्दी करिए। सूरज सर वही, हाँ सूरज सर वही है।
रुकिए रुकिए दोस्तों, कर रहे हैं, टेंशन मत लीजिए।
गर्म हो जाता है, ठंडा कैसे किया जाता है?
यार गरम कैसे हो जाए टर्न नहीं लेना है ऐसा फोन, चला अपने गरम हो जा रहा है, टर्न ऑफ हो जा रहा
देखिए
है।
मित्रों,
रुकिए रुकिए, आवाज तो नहीं आ रहा है सर, लेकिन आवाज नहीं आ रहा है लेकिन।
और आवाज कहाँ हो कैसे? तो यहाँ से आवाज नहीं।
वो हम लोग नहीं कर रहे हैं सर, वहीं
हाँ
से
कोर्ट नंबर 8 से ही
कनेक्ट
साउंड में थोड़ा।
सेंट्रल टीईटी
अभी हम लोग को कुछ नहीं बोलना है सर, ठीक है।
अभी कोई नहीं बोले, सारा चीज देखें, जजमेंट को सुने।
Second, and as far as state governments are concerned, when they conduct a TET, it applies to all the government schools and the aided schools within that state. That's why it uses the word the state. What you are asking is, yes, where from you are reading within that state? From the words, as a TET conducted by a state government shall apply to a school of the state government. So it is of that state government. You are giving this because they may come with an argument. What may be their argument? Their argument is based on the sentence after that, after the 1 and 2. Yes. That a school at 1 and 2 may also consider eligibility of a candidate who has obtained Ctet certificate awarded by another state or UT with legislature. So that is what their argument is based on. But because of this guideline, we are entitled, therefore, to permit those who are yes. It's not continuous. Yes. And the next line after that, in case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct a TAT, a school at 1 and 2 in that state UT would consider the Ctet conducted by the central government. So, this is what is being relied upon by them to argue allow as a qualification in non-Jharkhand TET or a CTET. This is their argument. So now, the problem with that argument of theirs appears to be that it would require a twisting of section 23,
माथा
which
पकड़
in
के
our
वकीलों
submission is impermissible. I want your lordships to also see the rules under the RTE which provide for how relaxation can be granted. Is completely zero.
हमारे वकील बोला ना क्लियर हो जाएगा.
This first sentence is what the High Court has relied on, my lord. So your lordship may mark that our school at 1 and 2 may also consider. You are not disputing this situation. This NCT can issue a guideline. We are not disputing that. Not disputing. This guideline they have issued. Yes. By issuing this guideline, they have given.
कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल देखिए हम लोग सीटेट के वकील का.
हमारी
They have given this relaxation. Yes. On which they are relying upon. Yes. And this is a relaxation. A school at 1 and 2. Yes. They also consider eligibility of a candidate who has obtained TET certificate awarded by another state or UT with legislature. Yes. In case a state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct TET, a school at 1 and 2 in the state or UT would consider TET conducted by central government. Second doesn't control. So this is for central government and first is for the other states. Yes. So they have from other states. Yes. They have been permitted under this process. So suppose then who would permit it? A school at 1 and 2. Yes. The school itself. So yes. So that can be permitted.
देखो मित्रों.
Follow. That's what I'm showing your lordship. If you see the RTE rules made with reference to section 23, I'll just show your lordship. It's in the Bare Act itself. If your lordship takes a look. Rule 38.
जज भी बोल रहे हैं they are permitted. फिर भी इनको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, बताइए.
और अभी तो उसके अपने बयानों पर वो फंसे हुए हैं. अभी हमारे एडवोकेट बात
रखेंगे.
Rules 17 and 18, my lords. 17 says the central government shall within 1 month notify an academic authority for laying down minimum qualifications. That's been done. Now at 18, relaxation of minimum qualifications. The state government and the union territory shall, within 6 months from the commencement of the Act, estimate teacher requirement as per norms in the schedule for all schools. Referred to 2N. Where a state government does not have adequate institutions offering courses or training in teacher education, or persons possessing minimum qualifications as notified in sub-rule 2 of Rule 17 are not available in sufficient numbers in relation to the requirement of teachers estimated under sub-rule 1. The state government or the union territory shall request, their only job is requesting, within 1 year of the commencement of the Act, the central government for relaxation of the prescribed minimum qualification. 3. On receipt of the request referred to in sub-rule 2, provision is made at the commencement of the Act because initially there was no institution, nothing. That is correct. That is correct.
हमारा वकील पूरा खुश है.
बुरा रो रहा है जी. यहाँ जी.
Section 23(2).
हमारे वकील पूरा खुश.
Yes.
Confident.
So, if my argument would be that while this is at the commencement, it would also apply in every situation where at some point either you don't have enough TET qualified candidates, you can't leave the children without any teachers. So then you need a relaxation.
व्यक्ति को ध्यान से देखिए आप लोग.
So then you
जूम
will
करते
write
हैं आप लोग.
and say, please relax, I don't have
रो
enough
रहा है
TET
किस तरह से.
qualified candidates.
जम भी होता है.
Or in a situation where, for example, some institutions are shut down, maybe because
रोता हुआ चेहरा देखना अच्छा नहीं लगता है.
and then you may face such a situation. So if we were to read it that strictly to say that it's only within 1 year, then you're leaving the states without any other alternative but to conjure up mandate options. Yes. There are questions. Yes, sir. Petitioners who were before the High Court.
मेरे घर में 4 को नौकरी लग जाएगा इसमें.
What was their relief before the High Court? What they were asking before the High Court? Their prayers are at page 292 to 289 onwards. there are 4 prayers, and I'll read them. A, why no steps were taken? Just wait. 289 of this.
उसको नीचे करो, इसको ऊपर करो.
Or showing for the respondent. So why the steps are not being taken to conduct the TET since 2016, in spite of regular demands and protests, etc., etc. Then the second prayer, my lord, is at 292. How they will redress the aspirations of a large number of candidates available,
okay,
who have acquired all other requisite qualifications other than TET. Then prayer C, I'm reading all of them. Prayer C, for directing respondent 2 to either conduct TET in the light of Jharkhand test, etc., which mandates the state authorities to conduct the TET every year, or to consider Ctet qualified candidates worthy for participating in the selection process of the teachers of the state. So there was an alternate prayer saying either you conduct it or allow Ctet eligibility. These are the Ctet persons. Yes, Ctet persons. Right. They don't have a Jhtet, so they have a Ctet which permits them to apply for teacher positions in all central government institutions. So they have that. They therefore are asking for Jhtet equivalence.
लगता है इसी सुनवाई होते थे टाइम खत्म हो
We don't
जाएगा.
have the Ctet option. We have only our Jharkhand option.
और टाइम है सर अभी 4:30 बजे.
These are the prayers. Now, when this comes up before the High Court,
जितना झूठ बोलना है
page
बोलो.
9 is where the judgment starts. Each stand and inspection. Yeah, this supplement. If I can just see para 2, which is at the bottom of page 9. Bottom of page 9. The matter was heard by us, and in course of hearing on 25th July, our attention was drawn to clause 10 of the guidelines conducting TET, what I just read to your lordship. So meaning wherever we see, yes, then this guideline applicability, yes, then the later part of this B, yes, later part of this B, yes, later part of this B. In case the state government UT with legislature decides not to conduct a TET, a school at 1 and 2 would consider the TET conducted by the central government. So the prayer is only about Ctet. A school of 1 and 2, the state in that state would consider the TET. Correct. So clearly, for this to apply, the state needs to take a stand that we are not going to conduct TET. Once the state says we won't conduct the TET, then obviously it's very fair for them to get the Ctet qualified candidates and ask them also to take part. State has not taken such a stand. That's not the state stand even today. On the contrary, the state has in its counter affidavit said that we will be conducting the TET. They are conducting the TET. Anyway. Come to the... Yes. Now, if you just see para 4, this is the stand that they have taken. Supplementary counter affidavit. Yes, supplementary counter affidavit. Just see extracted para 8. Yes.
बेचैनी देखें.
Stated and submitted that state of Jharkhand is intending to implement Jhtet objectives in consonance with the geographical and regional needs, requirements such as various languages, tribal languages, culture, and Hindi language speaking population within the state of Jharkhand. This is their event stand. So therefore, that guideline 10 won't kick in because they will conduct the exam and they will keep in mind culture, language, tribals, etc., etc. Now, para 6.
कितना भी बोल लो.
इसी हियरिंग में आपका खत्म हो जाएगा सर.
आप लोग लाइव देखें साथियों, शेयर करें अधिक से अधिक लोग ताकि देख सकें. सुनवाई हमारी हो रही है. मीट विथ हार के बोल रहे हैं. सुनवाई हम लोग को चल रही है.
With the stipulation that in a future date they have to clear the state Ctet examination, and those persons should be the residents of Jharkhand. This is what we are aggrieved by because
इन लोग का बहस ना हम लोग को अपलोड ही नहीं करना है चैनल पे. अपना बहस अपलोड करेंगे. हटाओ, बोलिए जितना बोलना.
The only exception is if the state took a decision saying we are not.
कहाँ दिखाएगा ये?
Supplementary counter affidavit makes it clear that
दर्द करने लगे.
इसका रिकॉर्ड नहीं करेंगे, जब हम लोग का आएगा तब रिकॉर्ड करेंगे।
नहीं पूरा कर लेंगे।
करने वाला बहुत है, इतना कम करेगा। अब आएगा, इसको घुमा दे रहे हैं, आराम से देखा जी।
We are of the opinion that not only those candidates who have Ctet certificate and residents of Jharkhand, but also those residents
लाइन में
of
सेट कर
Jharkhand
देता
having
हूँ।
other
यहीं रहने दीजिए
qualifications
ना
and
सर।
having state Tet examination certificate of any of the neighboring states
आवाज सुन रहे हैं सर, उसको
shall
देखने से क्या
also be
मतलब है?
given
आप
a
बात
chance
कीजिए ना
to
अपना।
appear.
कितना देर रख सकते हैं भाई, इतना देर हो गया।
Correct. When it was not even a prayer. The lordship would notice the prayer was for Ctet and the alternative. Not for
बताइए हमारे वकील
any
कब
other
आएंगे?
state's qualification. They
जब
avoided
इन लोग का बात अपने रख लेंगे
having
तो
other
हमारे वकील आएंगे
qualification
और
and having state that
तुरंत
examination
जजमेंट आप लोग को मिल जाएगा कि
certificate of
सीटेट
any of
जीत
the
गए हैं,
neighboring states should also be
क्योंकि
given a
अपने
chance
बातों
to
से ही
appear in
फंस
the
चुके हैं
examination
जेटेट
with
के
certain
वकील।
stipulations which we propose laid down in the following
कितना बात
paragraphs.
को घुमा फिरा के बोल रहे हैं।
सर बताएंगे हम लोग।
Made with learned AG
बताइए सर
and also having considered
क्या क्या
matters
पूछ
of
रहे हैं?
great
देखिए ना फ्रेंड्स,
we
कितना
hereby dispose of the
ठीक है तो है।
reputations.
देखिए सर से जो भी प्रश्न पूछने हैं सर बताएंगे वन बाय वन करके।
नहीं
सर का बाल उड़ गया सीटेट के चक्कर में।
ऐसा मत बोलिए।
So
देखिए देखिए देखिए।
So para 8 we further sorry. So whether the High Court has considered this
अरे
clause,
आप लोग इतना फरमाइश कीजिएगा थोड़ी होगा। मोबाइल को रोटेट करके रखिए, ये रखिए। अब जितना हो रहा है उतना कर रहे हैं भाई। इतना देर 51 मिनट तक हाथ दर्द देने लगा भाई, बताओ। हाँ सुनने दे रहे हैं, थोड़ा शेयर कीजिए।
yes, it has been with subclause B, correct. The school referred subclause 1 and 2, correct. Eligibility of the candidate who have obtained the CET certificate and awarded by another state so and so. In case there is a quoted and correct, that's all quoted. That's of such position. We were of the opinion the state government is genuinely creating a number of posts. Yes. For which the state TET examination is required to be conducted. So, what they have not been held for the last almost 9 years.
वाह,
Last examination was held in 2016. Should not take into consideration the provision. Therefore, they advise the Resident Council for the state. Yes. Whether they intend to allow these candidates who have TET examination.
मेरे मित्र हैं सुभाष जी, बोल रहे हैं कि दिल धड़क रहा है।
Now, this has to be if your lordship just see.
जब सही टाइम आता है तभी गायब हो जाता है यार।
These are where the errors creep in.
मोबाइल आपका करप्ट है।
मोबाइल का करप्ट है, आवाज कहाँ से आ रहा है? तो मोबाइल का
Residents of the state of Jharkhand who are otherwise eligible to
वहीं
appear
से
in the
वैसा।
examination and hold a Ctet certificate or a certificate issued by neighboring states having resident of Jharkhand shall be allowed to appear in the ongoing process which has already
क्या
started.
होगा? कुछ बोलने से ही आप
With a
लोग का
further
दिक्कत होने
stipulation
लगता
that
है।
the state shall ensure that the
क्या होगा? हम
examination,
लोग
if
का
not
जीत
held
होगा
within
और
a
क्या?
year, is held at least within next 3 years. Now, this is itself self-contradictory. If you're holding the exam as per the guidelines, there can't be Ctet. It's only if you're not holding the exam that you can have a Ctet. And the candidates who have participated in the selection process and have been appointed have to clear that Ctet examination within a period of 3 years by giving one chance. They shall pass it within 3 years and in one first available chance. So this is the first direction. The second, we further stipulate that the state government shall not conduct the examination at least for next 3 months, so that the candidates should get some time to get ready. It may not be that. It may not be. I mean, but all this is completely unnecessary when you have 1 lakh candidates who are eligible and available. Where is that 1 lakh candidates are there? It's admitted in their counter of the state, Manoj. Just we paste them.
हटाओ नहीं यार, बड़ी बोल लिया, हम लोग को बोलने का चांस दो।
Counter in the Supreme Court. It was not there in the High Court. There's a counter in the
High Court में नहीं था।
Counter in the High Court. Where is that? Just completed. Page numbers. What numbers? In supplementary Supreme Court. The numbers I understand are only in the Supreme Court counter affidavit. Where is that? Where you pleaded that? That if you just see the Supreme Court counter, where you have pleaded it. You have to show somewhere you are pleading. We have come to the Supreme Court now, so in your pleading it has to be there. Then only the counter will come in. No, you have to state something. We came for the first time in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So only from Supreme Court pleadings I can show you. What is the question is being come to you? Yes, sir.
सीटेट वाला बोल रहा है।
Supreme Court reputation which you have filed.
डायरेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट में लोग आया है।
You must have asserted.
लेकिन करिए ना मोबाइल।
How many candidates have appeared?
लेकिन आपको पकड़ाएंगे तुरंत आएंगे।
Therefore, adequate number of the candidates have
हटाए ना सर, आवाज सुन रहा है ना बस।
possessing a TET from
उतना कौन दिखाना
they,
सके?
those are having JT. Page H, Maloj. Page H. Page H.
There is no reply given to the list of dates.
Where is the meeting?
Ground, you come to page 213.
No, so on that, if your lordships looks at the certificate that we annex at the end of every SLP, the certificate is an attestation by the advocate of record in these courts that the SLP synopsis, list of dates, all form one single composite. So when replies are filed, they're filed, but it's there in the grounds also. I'll show you both. I'll show you both.
Leave aside what certificates are given.
No, I'm
to argue
तो
that.
कैसा दोस्तों, हम यहाँ कमेंट कर देते हैं, लोग बहुत कमेंट कर रहा है,
Incorrect
फालतू
certificate.
कमेंट्स मत करो।
just see ground L in the SLP.
That I've told you 213 pages is it?
Yes.
Now see the counter. Let us see the counter.
States counter. Page 13, Malot, of the states counter. That's counter on behalf of respondents 1 to 5. 1, 3. Para 8.
वहीं से प्रॉब्लम है भाई, हम नहीं कुछ कर सकते।
In the peculiar facts and page 13. Page 13, yes, Malot. Of their counter, para 8.
Yes.
In the peculiar facts and circumstances of the present case, wherein the regular Jhtet could not be conducted in the past few years due to COVID pandemic and other contingencies, and on one hand, there are enough members of Jhtet qualified candidates within the state, approximately 1 lakh. Whereas on the other hand, a large number of Ctet qualified candidates and residents of state of Jharkhand who are aspiring to participate in the process of appointment. So here also they admit there's about 1 lakh of us. And they say there are enough numbers. So they also believe there's satisfaction as far as quantity is concerned.
I need it. I need company. So now what is your argument finally?
ना ठीक है,
So
ठीक
my arguments, the lordships can just pick up this note that sums up what my arguments are after the list of dates, page 2. The first is that section 23 is mandatory. And those relaxations.
विजुअल नहीं आ रही है दोस्तों, इसलिए थोड़ा फिर से कट करके फिर से लाइव कर रहे हैं हरी सर के मोबाइल से। बाकी कुछ प्रश्न है आप लोग पूछिए। दिखा रहा हूँ, विजुअल नहीं दिख रहे थे, इस कारण से हम लोग फिर से उसको
देखिए दोस्तों, यहाँ काजल लिखा हुआ है, बस देखिए कौन है, ये तो जुड़ जाता है यार। आप लोग जब भी इस
But that trigger, even as per the guidelines, admittedly is not there, because as we have shown you from the counter, their stand is we are conducting the exam. And again, in this counter just now, the same paragraph, they have said that we will be conducting, we couldn't conduct it because of COVID and other circumstances. So they have never taken a stand which fulfills that guideline 10 second part, which requires them to say that we will not conduct that, in which case, yes, Ctet can be borrowed. So that even we are not saying that you can't if you're not conducting the exam. We are saying since you have said that you are conducting the exam, then you have to strictly go by Jhtet.
Basically 23(2) compliance is your order.
Yes, 23(2) along with the guideline itself. Even if I am
guidelines following the rules.
Following throughout.
Following the rules.
Yes. Now, there's one couple of additional points. If you see 4.3 and 4.4 at page 3, we've given the page references. Service importance of Ctet cannot be overemphasized and has been accepted by the
भाई
state.
वहीं से प्रॉब्लम है, हमको दिखाने में क्या है।
Page 3. Service rules provide that Ctet papers include tribal and regional languages. Jharkhand, being a tribal state with 32 scheduled tribes, requires regional language as a medium of communication with students. Jharkhand also has the third lowest literacy rate in India. Further, the state itself has admitted before the High Court that Ctet does not fulfill the needs of the state to the state regional language and local needs. This is at page 302. The Lordship will find it in para 12. This is what they've said. It's part of the supplementary counter that they filed in the High Court. Sorry, it's main counter, not supplementary, main counter. Part of the main counter. Alright. Yes. And the other ground is on prejudice, my lords. I've mentioned that. And finally, in the directions, if your lordship notice, they don't say that certificates of Ctet from any states. They say neighboring states. There's no rationale really behind any of this. They shouldn't have departed from what the requirements are, what the qualifications are when they admit that 1 lakh are available. If relaxation is good, then that clause is good. That proviso, if it is bad, it is bad. It is bad. I'm grateful. That's all I think. Maybe in this speaking, they may have thought of it out of.
दोस्तों
That's
आप देखिए
left to the local.
शेर आ गया है सीटेट के.
So there's an account. Yes, madam.
सर आगे कुछ मत बोलिए, रिकॉर्ड करेंगे. कुछ मत बोलिए.
Filed by the state, which has been partly dealt with by the impugned order. Would your lordship kindly see just 2 paragraphs of the counter filed by the state, which is very relevant
to counter file in this Supreme Court and High Court.
Yes, ma'am. Please come to page number 323 of the same paper book which Mr. Gopal had referred to.
अभी ये लोग का चल रहा है, हम लोग का नहीं आया.
The reasons, because the High Court talks about them, it doesn't talk about what the state itself was concerned about. Please come to para 80, page 323, that it is further stated that the central TET qualified candidate or a candidate qualifying TET by another state can only be considered for a state-run schools when particular state government has decided not to conduct its own TET. But it is most humbly stated that it is not the case that the state government had decided not to conduct the JTET, and in these circumstances, the state government is not bound to consider central TET or a candidate qualifying TET by another state or UT as eligible qualifications. That CTET qualified candidates can be made eligible in a given contingency where the state government is not conducting TET, but when this contingency does not exist, there is no occasion to make central TET candidates eligible or to allow those candidates who have obtained TET from central government or any other state UT. In this scenario,
so your contention is
yes,
that the first counter affidavit filed before the High Court.
The second counter, supplementary counter.
This supplementary counter.
Yes, this is supplementary. Subsequent to the first.
Then the supplementary counter says this.
Yes.
And from where this concession has come?
This is oral, my lord. It is just the Advocate General says oral concession. There is nothing in writing. Number one.
Right statement of Advocate General is.
Therefore, they have taken it. Number 2, my lord. The entire writ petition, my lord, is allegedly it's called as a PIL. In service law, there is no PIL. In fact, all the petitioners are wanting to participate in this election. It's not a PIL in that sense. They are an unregistered association. We do not know how many members are there. They came before the High Court, my lord. The Honorable High Court ought to have at least seen all these provisions, which my learned friend was now striving to point out, my lord. What are the statutory sequence? What are the regulations to be applied? Whether it can be relaxed at this point of time, whether the contentions of the petitioner only for the prayer that please conduct JET, which can be at a stretch, we are saying that in the upcoming selection, please consider it. Now, please note the point, my lord, the rules in existence on that date had only JTET. When they went to the writ court, there was no challenge to the rules in existence. They said the rules in existence when we participated in the advertisement said only JTET. There is no challenge to that. In that scenario, whether the High Court could have rewritten the rule or the advertisement, your lordships have told me, Lord, you can't change the rules after the game has started. As simple as that. Where are the rules? Yes, bro. So, my friend had pointed out 228.
You can't change rule after the game started.
228 and 234.
Yes. $240. Please come to 240 and also 240, also 242. Yes, for primary. So much that they take so much into consideration, Lord. They belong to various tribes, and therefore it's very important. The state had itself pointed out all those. 237, Lord. Para 3E. E is the middle of the page.
कमेंट सुन के बहुत हंसी आता है। इन लोग लेडीज वकील भी लगे हैं। चुप रहने का नाम नहीं ले
It
रही।
started at 228 minutes. Kindly come to 234, which will say qualification. Correct. Yes.
मीनाक्षी मैम भी बोले
Start with
रुको ना।
qualification.
बैठी हुई है।
234 will start with qualification.
कितना बोलेगा भाई, हो गया यार, बहुत बोल रही हैं आप, थका दिए बोलते बोलते।
पागल कर दिया 1 घंटा।
अरे भाई हो गया।
Please come to
अमृतांश भी
237
बोलेंगे,
minutes.
अमृतांश वर्ड्स।
Middle of the page.
उनको क्या, वो थोड़ी बोलते हैं।
Yes. Left side will be intermediate teacher, education, what is that, all rules of mathematics, physics, etc. Coming to the 237 middle, 3E. Candidates will be eligible for appointment as assistant teacher in the same subject group in which they have passed.
Subject is all right. We have to see Jhtet.
Yes, please come over the page.
Page 248.
240, absolutely. I'm great.
20 years ago. Complete qualification. This last part.
Yes, not why I wanted to read this 237 was the point which we were stressing that same subject in which they have passed the teacher eligibility test, and after passing the teacher eligibility test in the regional language, tribal language notified for the district, will be eligible for appointment in that particular district.
So the advertisement is district wise.
No.
Yes.
No.
Advertisement is district wise.
Post sir. Because suppose somebody has learned Santali, then they will be posted in that district.
सही बात पकड़ा।
Yes. Advertisement.
अभी फंस गया।
Okay, I'll complete at 240 minutes. At 240, state clarify that. 240p and passed in
दोस्तों शेयर कर दें, सब्सक्राइब कर दें।
eligibility test conducted for classes 1 to 5.
यहाँ बोला ना कि एडवर्टाइजमेंट क्या
डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाइज।
हाँ, यहाँ चुप हो गई। यहाँ बोल क्या नहीं बोलना सकी अभी, रुको ना, अभी समझ में आएगा धीरे धीरे।
जी अमृतांश पोस्ट से।
242 also is says 6 to 8 JTET. Yes.
It's not 6 to 8.
Yes. 60 both are not 1 to 5 and 6 to 8 are primary and upper primary. Please come to the advertisement.
हाँ, एडवर्टाइजमेंट में
Yeah. Just one more 2 lines in that advertisement itself at 238 on top, Milord. Sorry, on the rules itself. On top, Milord. Just 2 lines. 238. On top, first line. 238.
Yes.
It will be mandatory to have knowledge of local customs, language and environment.
No.
They are basically, they say residents of Jharkhand only.
Ctet is only English, Milord. They don't have all these languages.
That's a different thing.
Very well. No, that's good.
They have the
For a
knowledge.
primary child. In fact, Devesh
They have
Sharma, your
knowledge of all this. That's why they said residents of Jharkhand.
residence is fine, no, but they didn't pass. No, we had passed in 16, waiting for the past 8 years. And different local customs and languages and tribal. Yeah. Advertisement will be in the additional documents, not your lordships had seen it. There also at one, it is starting at 35, but relevant portion of qualification 51.
51. 51.
बोरा सिर्फ इंग्लिश पकड़ा गया। स्टेट में थोड़ा इंग्लिश है यार, हिंदी भी है।
बहुत झूठ बोलता है यार, कसम से बहुत झूठ बोलता है। उर्दू भी है, बंगाली भी है,
बांग्ला भी है, असमिया भी है, तेलुगु है।
Non-para. You are non-para.
Non-para, we are all non-para.
Even para is to put.
Yes. Everybody is advice only, but this is specially for non-para.
अरे सर, ये सब क्यों लोग चेक कर रहा है जानते हैं?
Come to
बाद में जो रिजर्व रखेगा ना, उसके लिए कि क्या दे फैसला।
देखिए फंस गई अपने। अब इसको पेज
Then during after qualifying the test, then at that time they may look into about this
district posting.
accordingly.
Yes,
they may do.
yes, Lord, rank wise. 142, your lordship will find the same advertisement in pursuance of these rules, which contained JTET, your lordship saw it, Lord. Page 142, your lordship had seen, and
JTET. This is by
by the government of Jharkhand is the advertisement also.
But in that test, they are taking test of all the languages and all that of the state.
Every detail. This one, Lord. In this advertisement, they
No, the question is different.
sorry.
JTET. When he is appearing, the person is appearing in JTET.
Yes.
So when he appears in the JT18, then what is the curriculum? That are they taking the test of language wise and everything?
Particular language. They choose a language. Particular tribal areas.
He will be eligible.
Language.
बोले 32 लैंग्वेज, अरे 32 तो लैंग्वेज होता ही नहीं।
He will be eligible for appointment in another district.
He will not be, he will be chosen when he comes in the merit list according to his.
Will the advertisement some preference in the form and the prescribed?
No, the advertisement will show.
झूठ बहुत बोल रहा है यार।
ऐसे रख दे।
हटाइए ना, बंद कीजिए लाइव अब, बंद कीजिए।
नहीं नहीं,
Page 246 will show. Yes, sir. The subjects are given at 246.
हम लोग का भी सुनिए ना सर, क्या है लोग को सुन रहे हैं कभी से।
And general knowledge, they are common, my lord.
Where you are reading?
Page 246 of the SLP, which is the rule as such. Your lordships will get that.
Rules for appointment.
Rules mention that every person for this examination, what should be the subject matter is written there. Marks allotted for that.
Approved by Jharkhand Academic Council, so and so the format of examination will be as follows.
Yes, my lord. That will be serial number A will be subject is tribal and regional language. Any one of the district-wise languages notified with a notification so and so. Yes, there are 32. That question is 70 marks maximum. Then your lordship will come to B, any one of the mother tongue as per secondary examination. Then we not C is general knowledge, current affairs, social science, and that's mathematics.
Yes, for this selection. We are asking for the syllabus for JTET.
Yes, my lord. This is assistant teacher.
Yes.
Yes.
The question which was put to
Yes.
you was that for the purpose of the JTET, then to appear for a JTET,
Yes.
is it district wise, language wise, regional language wise?
We are instructed language wise. We don't have the ready reference of the rules here. Yeah, you have
निदेशक लग रहा है।
state counter.
कौन?
State counter and the Supreme Court at page 21 are the rules and the list of languages are at page 21 and 31
Yes.
of the counter of the state.
हाँ,
Page 21, Manoj, is where it starts. Right.
Yes, please.
This is the notification. Yes, Manoj. So this is the JTET test. Yes. So these are the TET rules, Manoj, for Jharkhand.
Yes.
With lordship, this comes to page 31.
31.
This is the district wise. This is a schedule. District-wise list of tribal regional languages, which is listed.
No,
That is there. Where is
that
the
is
syllabus?
fine. What we are asking,
पुराना
Mr.
पुराना
Kumar,
डाटा ये लोग दिखा रहा है, बहुत होशियार बन रहा है ना,
Yes,
अभी समझाते हैं, रुको
what we are asking is,
हम लोग सब मैम को बता
in terms
चुके हैं।
of the rules. So where is the description in the rule? That's how this appointment would be in that. You are specifying this district contained with this language and so, a different thing.
Yes.
So where it is prescribed, number one,
Yes.
for JTET curriculum, the person has to appear in this regional languages, and those persons as per have a preference under the rules in so and so, and option is required for their appointment in this regard.
So page 28 of this tape, just if you go a little way back. 28. At 27, they give the pattern of the eligibility test. At 28, after the table ends,
सब्सक्राइब
just see G. Sorry, not G. I.
Regional travel language mentioned.
Mentioned under language 2 and rule 7 will be as per schedule 1 of the rules. For appointment to the post of teacher, you will have to take the examination in any one of the regional tribal languages allowed for the district applied. So in the schedule they give for each district what those languages are. And then
No, district applied. That means he'll be eligible only for that district.
Yes.
as
Yeah,
per this,
yeah.
yes.
So please clarify this situation.
स्टेट वाइज
Yes.
To clarify the relevant rules of that
Yeah, right.
appointed rules. This is a rule for appointment who says this.
Right.
So, and so far as curriculum,
Yes.
For that JTET is concerned.
Yes.
Unlike what prescribes so. Please clear, make it clear.
We'll do that.
We're not going to complete today, we have understand now.
But the certificate mentions the language that he has studied specifically. The TET certificate issued to the candidates mention only what he has chosen and only he will be considered for that. We'll take that.
Here in this case, we are considering the root part.
अरे यार ये करने को इन लोग
Yes, that happened because of the shortest order, therefore nothing was considered therein.
Yes, all right.
In fact, your lordship will see.
You go on by your argument, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. So this, we are 1,301 people qualified in 2016 in the JTET, and we have been waiting since 2016, Lord. Your lordship will see that I showed that the rules in existence framed under 309 has considered this, Lord.
You passed out JTET in 2016. After passing out of JTET in 2016, this notification of the teacher's recruitment is of 2023.
Never came.
During this period, any other advertisement was issued?
No, we have been waiting.
There was no advertisement.
We have conducted protests and dharnas for selection.
7 years for
So many
for recruitment, no advertisement.
no recruitment there. We have been waiting for so long. 2016 onward. That is why, my lord.
Which is why they also didn't conduct another Jhtet.
Because of unemployment, the school colleges have not been closed.
Don't take the editing. Which is not a part of the either counter epidemic or the...
Would be the
No.
It's a reasonable thing because you have
Don't take the lot list, right?
you have lots of people
No.
use that.
They have not closed the normal graduation, post-graduation or any other school colleges because employment is not there.
Next is in the advertisement. The advertisement specifies there is a deadline to the advertisement. The deadline for applying and also
That is-
acquiring qualification also.
Has to be there on that.
Deadline to the advertisement.
No,
Therefore,
for the purpose of
applying for
you
this.
must have purchased this degree on or before so and so date.
My lord.
Please show that.
Yes. Please come 142.
142.
Is that qualification? But at 149. 149.
This 149.
Yes, my lord. Minimum educational qualifications. 160.
Yes, please. It will be mandatory for the candidate who have purchased the desired minimum qualification.
60.
Last stage is the application of the commission.
Yes, that will be at 169 also.
हो गया